I clapped kind of weird, like my hands didn't connect all the way.
Then you didn't clap. What?
No, I clapped. I clapped. So, my palm, I'd say, 25% of my palms connected with each other.
I see. Okay.
I don't know how that happened.
You said your hands didn't connect all the way, and I was like, so you stopped before the clap happened? What?
No. I successfully clapped. It was just a miserable clap.
Okay.
A miserable clap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like a 4 out of 10 clap. Okay. I am gonna go in.
Ultraman 80, Ultraman 80, he came to us from the start. 君は誰かを愛しているか、それは生きてることなんだ。君は勇気を持っているか、どんなことにも負けない心。遠くの星から来た男が愛と勇気を教えてくれる。ウルトラマン80、ウルトラマン80。He came to us from the start.
Hello, you are listening to Ultra Q episode 116. 1 week from the John 117 number. My name is Red. I'm joined by Mel.
Why did we have 2 plots in a row about a team member becoming a kaiju?
That's a very good question. Brad, also joined by Brad.
You ever have a 2-part tragic romance story where, one of the people involved get, 3 lines right at the end only?
Well, and the two, the 2 people never talk to each other.
Yeah.
Not even in flashback.
And also we just met her. And also I guess technically him.
Uh-huh. This week we got 4 episodes of Ultraman 80 to talk about. But I have a question right at the top. Mel, where is the school?
What did you do to the school, Mel?
Do you want to?
I know you hate whippersnappers. What did you do?
The show is Ultraman 80. It's not the drifting classroom.
Oh, I made them drift. Do you want the write up at the top or?
I
think we might.
I'm going mad. I need to hear this.
So you want at the top, okay?
I would like to know, now.
Okay, the democracy. Okay, so this retool. Would it surprise you to know that I've known about this forever?
So you've always known that Ultraman 80 was going to do this?
Yes, I've always known that Ultraman 80 was specifically a show about a teacher that stops becoming about a teacher really fast.
Damn.
Because it's basically about the only trivia point people say about Ultraman 80.
That is tragic, but makes sense.
And maybe that is why no one talks about the show.
Those first few weeks of us talking about how special and good this show is.
So
it was a beautiful.
I was tickled when we were joking about it being the best one, and I was when basically Leah was also kind of doing this. I was feeling like, oh man, 80's gonna be rough. But at least if we go into it thinking it'll be fine, and then we watch the first batch, and I'm like, oh, now I'm upset because this is actually really good.
Oh man.
Anyway, here's my write-up. While the idea for the teacher-based Ultraman series was ambitious and promising, it ran into some issues. As I mentioned before, there was difficulty in filming the school scenes given the constraints on the recording schedule, i.e. only on Sunday. And there were like other things like episodes falling behind schedule and production, shooting schedule conflicts for the different students, so on and so forth. Also, remember, within Tsuburaya staff themselves, they originally wanted to do the more traditional show, and so they're kind of divided on the teacher stuff to begin with, as well as how to manage to actually write plots juggling the school conflicts and the Monster of the Week stuff. I'm going to give their opinions as they appear on the Ultraman Wiki, and we can judge how rational these opinions are.
Okay.
Kazuo
Wait,
Mitsuhara,
I'm gonna have an open mind. I want to hear what these people have to say.
Kazuo Mitsuda felt the groundedness of the school setting clashed with the sci-fi elements of UGM and the kaiju, and that focusing on the latter might have led to better and more focused storytelling.
That's a lie!
Noriaki
Bastard!
Felt like trying to find ways to juggling Takeshi's need to be at school while also having the monsters show up crafted meant to increasingly complex stories. Hiroyasu Yamura and Shigemitsu Taguchi were generally more positive on the teacher stuff.
That's right.
The idea of this kaiju attacking during class and Takeshi being stuck between his two responsibilities excited Yamura. And they had regrets that basically only had one episode where they did this. Taguchi went one step further and felt a logical conclusion would be that his students would actually learn about his identity and actually help cover for him when his absences.
Yes!
Bunpei Ai, for his part, seemed to have disliked Kenpachi Sensei, or at least had a chip on his shoulder about how the show was so clearly inspired by the latter show. He also kind of fundamentally disliked the image of a gentle and kind-hearted teacher, maybe vindicating Red's position.
Oh, okay. Maybe. I mean, I don't necessarily want to align with the sniping protesters guy. However,
yeah. I feel like maybe his issue was also you didn't have to make him a teacher specifically. It could have been any profession and have a Spider-Man plot, I guess I was thinking. But maybe I think some of that may just come from the fact that Kenpachi Sensei is the show obviously being copied, and him maybe just
It was just too. I can see that if you're a creative person, feeling like you're working on a knockoff being kind of upsetting.
However, this is the actual most significant reason why the retool happened. At some point, our good friend at TBS, producer Yoji Hashimoto, was reassigned to TBS Radio away from the TV department and no longer had any involvement with the Ultraman franchise. If you recall, he was basically been the guy who worked on Ultraman in partnership with Tsuburaya since the 70s. And also, remember, he was also the one, he's basically been the main advocate for Ultraman within TBS basically since the start. Or at least since the 70s. And also, recall that the teaching idea was specifically his idea. It was kind of his baby. And he was the guy in the pitch meetings being why are we making an 80s Ultraman? We gotta make it relevant to the new age. And basically when he was replaced, the new guys at TBS were just kind of well, this school stuff's causing headaches, so how about we do a normal show after all? And then they just dropped the school stuff without a word, and the show shifted into a more conventional sci-fi story with the defense team focus with an Ultraman classic show.
This is the defining era of every Showa era Ultra show after Ultra 7.
Yeah. It seems, despite what I said above, Yuasa's view on the direction, as well as the fact that Tsuburaya seemed unwilling to, quote-unquote, put restrictions on Ultraman's power, meant that he felt in the end 80 was half-hearted and a regrettable production.
My god.
Whew.
Ironically, this new change in direction led to a drastic drop in the show's ratings. I wonder which part of the show will actually stick in people's memory and get referenced in future media.
So generally speaking, people were up on the part of this show where he was a teacher, and people are down on the part of this show where they fucking stopped doing that for absurd reasons of people in the background going this seems to clash with all the identity of Ultraman. Shut up.
Yeah.
Even the more stuff I can be sympathetic to. Logistically, this was kind of a nightmare with how the setup works.
Yes.
You could have
absolutely
still done what they kind of you can have episodes where the school doesn't need to be involved to make up for that.
They had 3 weeks of no school, and we were that's weird. I assume will we see the school next week? Yeah. I feel like we should see the school next week.
Yeah.
Like you could find ways to fill until like you could put something together with the school.
Yeah.
Let's also like. I don't want to say that this is bullshit. I would like to take these people at their word, but there is no shortage of week-to-week shows going on at the same time that are set in school that apparently don't have these same issues.
Yeah. Like maybe some sort of Kenpachi Sensei, though.
Yeah, exactly. Like, exactly.
Maybe,
like, come on.
maybe they could build like a set. I don't know. The other thing is like the kids don't need to be in school for it to be about the students.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like we got several scenes where like they're not at school.
Yeah, we had the field trip episode. Children do not stay at school. They don't live there.
This is also the part of their lives where they're getting more involved with extracurricular stuff. Like, you can... Yeah. There's so many ways to expand that out.
There was an episode where he joined their band.
Yeah, exactly. You could do a field trip episode.
Like they did.
Yeah.
They could have had a pretty good baseball episode.
Oh man, we missed out on the Ultraman baseball episode.
It's okay, we have Ultraman Rising.
That is true. That's basically kind of a...
That's not what I want. I want the...
You want the little league. You want the little league Ultraman.
Exactly.
Baseball, yeah.
I want the like the Haruhi baseball episode.
And you want the one parent who's like way too into it.
Yeah. There's a great fresh Precure baseball episode.
I've been watching Fooly Cooly again. That's a solid baseball episode.
There is a baseball episode in that show.
Yeah.
I forgot.
Not my
I haven't
favorite.
seen Fooly Cooly since high school.
Not my favorite. You should probably keep it that way. I feel like
Which
that's
is
a
also
very
true
high
of
school.
Gunbuster.
That's a very high. You should rewatch Gunbuster. Fooly Cooly, I feel like hits best when you're in high school.
In my mind,
it's like the Donnie Darko of anime.
The Donnie Put that on the fucking box.
It's like they taped an episode of The Big Bang Theory over Donnie Darko.
Yeah.
Did anyone see that? Go before.
No.
Hold on.
Wait, is this real?
Yes.
Am I missing something?
I need to show you the image.
I thought this was like a meme you were referencing.
I can't find it, but it was basically like someone said that like it was on like the back of the box quote review of like a DVD for Steins Gate.
Oh my god.
Oh, that might be the funniest possible.
That's the worst thing I've ever... Oh, okay, I found the image. I'm pasting this in the chat. Steins Gate is a surreal viewing experience that's an absolute must-watch for all fans of sci-fi. According to Anime Vice, it's like somebody taped an episode of The Big Bang Theory over a copy of Donnie Darko.
I also really like the idea that when you tape something over it, it like merges the shows.
It retains like base elements of the original.
Yeah.
It doesn't just replace it.
It's not replacement. It's SMT fusion. You get a new third thing.
Oh my god.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm sure Persona, if a Persona had hit in the right era, they could have got a VHS tapes, gimmick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Looping back to just the one thing Brad said before we actually continue. I probably should watch Gunbuster because right now I'm like, oh yeah, Karakana is probably the best thing I've ever done in my view, and that's probably not actually true, but.
Karakana is really good so far.
It is.
I understand at some point he leaves and that show falls off. Oh, does he not?
Just like stops putting his name on it. Some person, like I think, I forget where it was. I have to find the Twitter thread, but someone basically debunked the fact that he left the show. But
okay, I see.
You just stop putting his name as prominently on it.
I see.
Presumably for the reasons why people think he left the show.
Mm-hmm. Well.
Yeah, let me continue.
Go for it.
Anyway, Tsuburaya Productions president Noboru Tsuburaya was dissatisfied with the way things were going and TBS's decision-making in regards to the show, and this led to a lot of, like, discussions between the companies that got really heated and coming to blows, and the relationship between the two companies deteriorated eventually to such a point that Tsuburaya executives were barred from entering TBS senior offices.
If I had a nickel for every time in this podcast people got banned from entering the premises of a building of an involved company, I would have 2. But, like, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Et cetera,
this
et
keeps
cetera.
happening.
So basically, yeah, more than, like, the fact that there was a production shit show and the show got really bad in the ratings, is the fact that in the course of doing this show, Tsuburaya and TBS production executives started hating each other. This is more than anything is why Ultraman had a big years-long gap off the TV until Tiga.
Oh my god.
Because remember, TBS was the channel that Ultra's been on since the 60s. It's Ultra Q.
Apologies if this is skipping ahead too far, and if you don't want to answer, you don't have to. Does Tiga air on TBS?
That's the thing I didn't look up, because I'm like, that'd be fun to find out when we get there.
Okay, yeah.
I'm
we'll
like,
go on
I
that adventure
legitimately
together
have
then.
no idea if Tiga's even on TBS.
Okay.
Which is interesting to think about. Like, it
So,
could
like,
just be on a different network.
Like, that's my thing, because, like, I don't know enough about, Japanese, like, TV, but also, like, even, like, frankly, I don't really know. Like, how difficult is it to find, like, another channel to pick up that show? Like, I don't actually know how that process works.
It's also one of those things where it's like, oh, Ultraman just bombed, who's going to pick it up again if TBS isn't? And also,
that's
if it's been
true.
off the air for a while, like, you gotta, like, get the good
This
pitch
is
to
the
go
era.
into.
This is the era where anime is booming like nobody's business too. Yeah, that's tough.
like in the next, like, decade, like, Ultraman, like, Kamen Rider is also gonna not be on the air. Like, there's gonna be, like, a blip where you have Black and Black RX on the air in, like, the late 80s.
Yeah, in terms of, like, weekly shows that, like, boys are tuning into, the Tominos and Co. over at Sunrise are dancing on the corpse of Ultraman.
Yeah,
That's
like,
true.
they're Super Sentai, and then also, like, instead of Kamen Rider, like, Toei starts the Metal Hero series in the 80s throughout the 90s, but, like, you know, it's the room for Ultraman is not much. It's kind of hard to come back from this. Yeah, so, like, yeah, Ultraman's home for, like, since the 60s is gone, basically. The bridge has been burned, and we'll see if, like, TBS is where Tiga ends up after all, or that relationship is mended, or it just ends up somewhere else because the relationship was just like that broken.
Fuck.
We will see. We got, like, some stuff in between, obviously, so because we didn't, you know, it turns out there's actually a fair amount of stuff in between Tiga and 80 somehow, but that'll be fun for audience. Also, this has led to some degree, like, people unofficially dividing 80 into arcs because it's just the weird production stuff. Not that one. And the first 12 episodes are usually referred to as the school arc, and this next phase of the show is called the UGM arc by fans.
Okay, so there's a post-UGM arc.
I was about to say this implies the existence of a third and possibly fourth arc.
Oh, we may see. We may see the directions the show takes. I hope I like those more. Because the past 2 weeks, I've just been kind of checked out of these episodes. I watched 3 of these episodes times 2 speed. I just did not care.
Would we like to talk about these episodes?
I guess we have to.
Yeah.
Now,
that being said,
that was the wrong question to ask. Shall we talk about these episodes?
Yeah.
That being said, I do not remember what the first one of these even is.
This is the Snow Art episode.
Episode 16, The Mysterious Object from Space, Snow Art, featuring Devilon and Alien Ruria. Okay.
I think you'll find it features the voice recording of Alien Ruria.
Yeah. A spaceship from Earth finds a strange and beautiful work of art in space that looks a bit like a snowflake, and they bring it back with them. The entire Earth decides it's so beautiful that it basically makes other art obsolete, and they name it the Snow Art. UGM detects some funny readings off the snow art and investigate, which eventually leads to Jono accidentally destroying the snow art by shining infrared light on it. She then gets possessed by some kind of alien, and UGM finally deciphers the funny readings they got. It's a message. It says, "Whatever you do not bring this snowflake-shaped prison to your home planet, and definitely do not attempt to free the creature literally called Devil that is imprisoned inside. It will totally possess people and generally fuck up your shit with its telekinetic and telepathic powers. Lots of love, Alien Ruria." So Devil fucks up Earth's shit with its telekinetic and telepathic powers, but UGM are unwilling to actually hurt it on account of it being a possessed Jono. The army attacks and Devlon turns big. Takeshi turns into Ultraman and multiple UGM members get telepathically controlled to attack him. They get uncontrolled, but 80 can't Suckium beam Devlon. He's like, "That's oomph." He instead makes Devlon suffer so much pain that it chooses to try to possess 80's body instead. This works, Jono is saved, and 80 is simply built different and thwarts the possession. He flies to space, ejects Devlon, and blows it up. Back at base, Jono says she still thinks the snow art was really beautiful. The end.
I think it's funny that I watched this episode the same week as the episode of Sequest Season 2 I watched this week, which is also about, like, a demon is being broken out of a prison and it being defeated by, like, removal of air.
I see. Yeah, okay. So I did not come up in the summary. Some shit about an air pocket phenomenon. They keep going on
like
about this. Yeah, a vacuum. It doesn't actually seem very relevant. It's not how he defeats the... Is it? I don't know.
It's how he gets Juno, is that her name?
Jono.
Out of there, I think.
Okay.
Because he starts to, like, strangle it.
I see. I see.
This episode honestly kind of has a cool premise. And I don't think the execution is making use of it as interestingly as they could have, maybe.
I feel like maybe that's just my complaint about this entire batch of episodes.
Is a decent setup and then poor execution. Yeah, I definitely like the nighttime investigation. First of all, I like cool. The sort of the team sort of collectively investigating this thing, where the captain's like, it does weird readings off this.
It feels like we haven't had a moment where, like, they investigate in their cities in a while.
Yeah.
Like, remember when that was, like, a novel thing about, like, the Alien Metron episode 7?
Yes. Man, that's a great episode.
It is.
Remember when they smoked the same cigarette back to back and both had to get beat up?
Is it gay if two guys smoke the same cigarette back to back?
Is it gay if two guys smoke the same? Absolutely, it's gay. What are we talking about here? Absolutely. But yeah, I like the sort of like the vibe on like the team investigating this, and like two guys go and talk to the director of the art museum or whatever, and he's like, "Oh yeah, there's a reading. We know it's there, but we're not allowing anyone to investigate it." And then the Cap's like, "Well, okay, we can't send you two again. They know you're in UGM. We'll send you two." In just, you know, in your civvies, and you'll investigate, you'll sneak around after, you know, stick around after dark, and you'll investigate the snow art. And then that going wrong, I think, is also cool. I think Jono getting, first of all, Jono getting possessed, and then the alien Devlon leaping, like the really clumsy leap out of the window, is great. Big fan.
Yeah.
And then there's some destruction that I think is really good effects, which, you know, Ultraman 80 is just good on, like, the...
Yeah. We can't fault it for being a bad special effects show.
Exactly. This is what Tsuburaya are good at. They just suck at everything else all the fucking time.
I want to give special shot... Devlon spends, like, the second half of this episode just kind of floating menacingly, and I love it so much. It's so goofy. It's incredible.
He's like a JRPG boss.
Yes!
He's operating on turn-based rules. It's really good, but
I'm torn on I think when you have, oh no, my allies are getting possessed and, like, are now my enemy, and I have to, like, deal with them, but also I don't want to, like, hurt or kill them because they're my friends still. Always a fan of when that happens. I feel like the best we get of that this episode, I feel, is when the other members of UGM start to attack Ultraman in the plains. That is this one, right? Not the next?
Yes.
Yes, okay, that's what I thought. But everything else outside of that, I feel like they don't do... I don't think they have enough fun with it. It kind of feels like a non-issue.
The actual problem
by the time
with that in this episode is they're possessed when they attack Ultraman.
Yeah.
It's not that they're like, stop hurting our friend. Which I think would be better. But yeah.
Actual conflict and not like the thing where it's like, oh, it's brainwashing.
You know what would have been cool?
Yeah.
What if they did... So you know how at the end of the episode, Ultraman is like, okay, like, they do like the exorcism thing where it's like, you possess me and then I'll like deal with you while you're in my body. What if Ultraman was just like, I'm gonna let it possess me and I trust my friends to be able to like subdue me? Like,
and then
like,
they had to subdue Ultraman.
Yes.
Oh.
Like, I think that could have been interesting.
Instead of him just being like, oh, I just make the devil possess me, and then I just win.
Because I'm too pure, and I can just fly out and then eject it.
Which is definitely where, like, I started thinking about the thing you also said about Tsuburaya.
Yeah. Definitely, I'm like, what if he just, I mean, obviously these are not, like, serialized, so you can't really do, he's like, oh, I get possessed by Devlon, and now that's
Serato
just kind of
there. Serato learning about the term challenge for the first time.
Oh, you make it like a long-term corruption, like I have to constantly fight with it. Oh, that would be sick.
Yeah, when Ultraman gets weak, you've got the threat of getting possessed by Devlon.
Oh, ooh.
But you know, obviously you can't do that in these shows because that's sort of that's not
ruins
happening
the
yet.
Episodic thing.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is that is happening yet. That's why no one cares about Ultraman anymore.
No, that's true.
It's because that's happening over on another channel right now. You can go watch that.
Yeah, I do feel like
you can be watching Ideon right now.
Yeah, I do feel like a weird side effect of going through and doing the Ultra Q journey has been developing a weird newfound appreciation for the other old retro anime shit I like from the same time period, for realizing how big of swings that they were taking in comparison to, like, Ultraman continues to take a more traditional, like, lowercase c conservative approach to how it wants to develop and grow. It's weird, as we're seeing, it's kind of being left behind because of that.
It's a weird thing because, like, the last shows you watched were contemporaneous with, like, Mazinger and, like, Grendizer. And then, like, in the gap, we get fucking Voltes 5. And Voltes 5
suddenly we've got, like, Daimos and Zambot and Gundam hits, but, you know, I mean, that's a delayed.
Like part of it, too, is, like, you're getting all those creatives in early anime that are, like, coming off of, like, the student protest movements and, like, the Japanese New Left, like, cinema stuff where, like, they want to, like, make a mark and are really itching to, like, push things forward. And I almost wonder if maybe the people that are kind of left at the TV networks doing the Toku stuff are kind of like the old guard who are kind of holding the fort down, if that makes sense.
It's like the old guard making shows that are a lot more children oriented than, like, the more general audience of anime kind of thing. So a combination of things where it's like, oh, this just kind of ends up being a lot more formulaic then. Yeah, that's what
I have one more point. I actually really think the setup is cool too of, hey, another alien species left this behind as, like, a sealed problem they couldn't defeat, but they had to, like, just kind of imprison, and left a warning, like, don't touch this, basically. I think that's really fun and is something I think I wish we sometimes had more room in these episodes for random alien, like, neighbors like this that are just kind of out there existing, and, like, they're not really good or bad, they're just, like, another one, like, you know.
It feels like we just feel like we 80% of time the alien shows up, there's strictly invaders.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's just like 'cause it's easier, but like there's potential for like a whole ass space opera setup for Ultraman the way they do these shows, and we haven't really got it in this so far, at least from what the things we've seen.
Like
except for I guess that fucking manga maybe.
Yeah. But this reminds me of like and this is a whole rabbit hole you can go down if you want, but the problem that scientists I think are still dealing with of like how do you mark nuclear waste sites so that the language is universally understood enough by people, no matter what shape humanity is in, to realize, oh, this is danger, I should avoid this. And like that's a challenge, right? And like when you expand that to how do you leave a message warning of danger for, let alone like alien species, like that's getting like rough, you know? That's the sort of sci-fi shit that I like when we were wrestling with.
Like humans think Kihi is more dangerous than Boba, but what if there's a race that thinks that Boba is more dangerous?
True.
You know, Boba Fett does have a high kill count.
I know you fucking... What books you been reading?
I read the little baby Boba Fett books when I was a kid. I don't actually think
Have you ever see the fucking the Clone Wars Boba Fett stuff?
No. I haven't seen any like Clone Wars really.
He does not fucking have it.
I did read the book where you know what, I don't even want to get it. The book that happens in between scenes of Return of the Jedi where Leia and Boba talk.
Yes.
That has the worst
I know
shit
the
ever.
exact conversation you're talking about.
Yes.
The one where she thinks he's here to be like gross and sexually weird to her, and instead he's sexually weird in a different way, where he's like, actually, I'm a Mandalorian, and that means that we've got like we really do not have sex until marriage.
Yeah, it's so fucking stupid.
Someone was like, oh, this guy's so cool. Wouldn't he be so much cooler if he was trad? Anyway, Ultraman.
Yeah, I think this episode is cooler described and on paper than it is in execution.
Yeah, ultimately it just winds up this kind of messy fight at the end with all these like people getting possessed, and it's just kind of he gets the vision of Jono, and then it just kind of has like a cop out,
and he wins,
and he just wins. He just goes, I'm just good. I'm just built different. I'm better than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cheating in a whole new, in a different way than we usually say that Ultraman cheats.
Yeah, I just felt like this was like a wet blanket ending.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to spend forever talking about Ultraman this week because I'm not, and we got a 2-parter coming, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. We already did make it too, so.
This one was directed by Joe Hirose and written by Yasushi Hirano, both of whom we've talked about before.
Excellent. Mel.
Special actor is Koichi Takano. Devilron suit actor is Koichi Nara. Alien Ruria is played by Shojiro Kihara. The costume came from I don't know what this is, but the Hulk Commander's costume in Star Wolf, the previous space opera thing, Tsuburaya, in the 70s.
Cool. I think this is ultimately maybe my favorite of the 3, even if it's kind of like just for like the early stuff in the episode.
It's the least disappointing.
It's the least disappointing. The third episode. The third episode has something, but like it's just a rehash of 2 different Ultra 7 episodes in one.
Get to it. Yeah. We'll get to it. I also had that same observation.
Yeah. I'm glad we're all on the same page. I was also thinking of a particular Toho movie that Mel and I watched.
Oh, well, yes.
I was also thinking, I'm sure Mel and Brad watched a Toho movie about it.
Can't escape this. It wasn't even a good movie. I guess this episode's better than that movie, but it doesn't have a walrus. Anyway, the 2-parter we have to get through first.
Episodes 17 and 18 are called Fly to the Sinister Monster Island Parts 1 and 2, featuring Lovrus, Darren, and Gimira. UGM pick up strange readings from Shiokaze Island, but not enough to get permission to investigate. Instead, they get Ito to take some time off and go to Shiokaze Island, but remember, Ito, it's a vacation. Don't work too hard. Within 5 minutes of landing on Shiokaze Island, Ito goes missing, and over the radio they hear kaiju noises, and they're like, holy shit, Ito's he's been attacked by a kaiju. The UGM boys are sent to find him. They find the island deserted, save for one mysterious woman and a kaiju called Lovrus. Later, all the people at the resort are back, but they don't remember being gone a minute ago, and they all have vampire bite marks. The UGM officers find out a strange fog summons the people at the resort to a cave, where they get their blood sucked by tentacles. They get saved by the mysterious woman, but she also appears to be fucking with them for some reason. When they try to fight Lovrus again, she interferes and declares that Lovrus is Ito. Takeshi is like, oh my god, she's right, that's again! He stops the other UGM officers from shooting. A strange wailing call comes from the cave, and it seems to summon another kaiju from the sea called Darren. Takeshi turns into Ultraman to fight Daz, and gets jumped by Lovrus, who is also under the cave spell. He's about to get cliffhanger murdered by Ito in kaiju form, but luckily the next episode begins with Lovrus actually beheading Darren instead. Lovrus retreats, and 80 turns back into Takeshi. What was you saying, Mel?
His fucking name's Darren.
His name's Darren. This is just, it's Daz, The other UGM officers are like, how exactly do you know Lovrus is Ito? And Takeshi says, I simply know. Please do not ask any questions. Do not question the trust you have in me, please. While all this was going on, the mysterious woman destroyed the UGM officers' gas masks. I'm not really sure why she does this. So now they can't resist the fog anymore. Maybe back at headquarters they figured out a counter to the fog. Back at UGM headquarters, Jono declares there's no counter to the fog because it is made of space chaos. Capital S, capital C. Thank you, Jono. Takeshi and the boys have to do something about that cave. They've got to blow that shit up and seal it. They head out, but they get got by the fog. Takeshi tells the other two to flee. He'll be fine in the fog. And they're like, how? And he's like, please do not ask. Thank you, Mel. Mel's posted a chaos check-in GIF. Yeah, they head out. They get got by the fog. Takeshi tells the other two to flee. He'll be fine in the fog, and they're like, "How?" And he's like, "I told you, don't ask questions." It's because he's an alien. He meets the mysterious woman, and they're both like, "Wait, why are you fighting the fog?" The mysterious woman reveals everything. Her name is Hoshi Sawako. She is an alien. Her ship was attacked many years ago by a kaiju called Gimira. She crashed here on this island. Gimira also landed on this island out on the end of the cape where that cave is. It turned her father into a kaiju and he died. She met Ito, got engaged to him, wrote to him every day while he was in France, and then Gimira started sucking everyone's blood, and so Ito came to the island to investigate, and Gimira turned him into a kaiju 5 minutes after he landed on Shiokaze Island again. He won't become human until he dies, and that's why Sawako is taking this bomb, and she's going to blow up Gimira's cave herself. Takeshi's like, that's so sad, but surely we can... Wait, hang on, give that back. She does not give it back. In fact, she blows up the cave, and this awakens all the hypnotized islanders or whatever, but it also awakens Gimira, and the kaiju bursts out of the mountain. Takeshi turns into Ultraman and gets his ass kicked. Lovrus arrives, and the spirit of Ito within overcomes the wailing hypnosis stuff, and he gets murked by Gimira and turns into a human corpse. This makes 80 go crazy. He defeats Gimira, and the day is saved. Takeshi finds Sawako with Ito's dead body. He wishes he could do something. Sawako also wishes she could do something. She clearly wishes way harder than Takeshi because she donates her life force to Ito and dies. Ito wakes up. The UGM members flying overhead in their jets are like, "Aw, that's so romantic." Later, without actually saying a word, the fact that he's woken up and his fiance's corpse is draped over him. Looking out at the sea, Ito tells Takeshi he always knew Sawako was an alien, even if she didn't tell him. He didn't care. He thinks it's important for humans and aliens to coexist on Earth, ruled by humans. He didn't say that last bit, but, I did. He does say her spirit will live on through him. And the narrator is like, that's so sick, bro. And I'm like, is it the end?
Jerk off ocean.
Yeah.
As per my statement last week, according to Ito's actor Masaki Daimon, Tsuburaya Productions team mentioned that they brought him on board to quote-unquote empower the story, though Daimon himself was unsure of what that entails.
If I was Daimon, I would also be unsure. I'd be like, why am I doing this?
What the fuck is this plot?
What? So I'm like...
I'm just thinking of him being like, you guys go back, and he's like, why? You don't have a gas mask. Don't worry about it. Okay.
Okay, everything's fine.
Okay, I believe you.
Okay, I believe... Him waking up with his fiance's corpse draped over him, and we then cut to people overhead being like, "Aww, it's so romantic." I'm like, what the fuck, bro?
Yeah.
They have a flashback with Ito and Sawako in the same scene together. Ito does not say a word to her.
No.
Sawako gets one line to him where she calls his name and says, "Be careful." That's it. Also, I don't know why. Right, there's a little bit of like she has reasons for doing this on her own, right? She's like, I want to get revenge for Ito and my father.
The shot of her spaceship being like smoke breath by the kaiju in space is really funny.
It is. Yeah. It is. It's a really big kaiju in a really small spaceship. But the degree to which she fucks with the UGM officers is like, you don't want anyone on your island to survive. Why are you sabotaging their gas masks? Why do you want them to get got by the kaiju that has... What is your motivation? What is happening?
So I don't know where to start, but I feel like going through the show of shows, there have been at least several times where we got through a two-parter and I said, I don't know if this needed to be a two-parter. This one has so much weird plot convolution going on that, like, instead of being like, I don't know if this needed
by cutting out the school, they made the stories less complex and more straightforward.
I think this shouldn't have been a two-parter in the sense that I think this would have been a more impactful story if there was less going on and they made it a punchy single episode.
Yeah, I think they've got, like, I quite like the first episode, as I always do with a disappointing two-parter.
You think
like
the setup is cool, and then the payoff is never beats the expectation?
Yeah, and then Sawako explains what the plot is, and I go, well, that was dog shit, and then she runs off with the bomb. The thing where they rock up on the island, no one's there, and then
they show up randomly.
They show up randomly, they're talking around, and like they all individually notice that everyone they're talking to has got these marks, and they track them down, they go to the thing, and then they meet Sawako. At that point, I really think it's at that point that Sawako should be like talking to these people. They kind of extend this where she's like, she saves them and then just kind of runs off again and starts fucking with them for no reason. And it's like, this has just extended the plot into a two-parter for no reason.
The sense of intrigue and mystery really just ends up making everything feel like a chore by the end of it, where it's like, I'm ready for this to move on.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't quite have the sort of... I think the sense that they're going for in this two-parter is this sort of knockdown, dragged out, like, by the end of it, it's just Takeshi standing type thing. That I don't think they quite capture with, like, the fog thing and the fact that most of the blows that they take to their efforts are through Sawako sabotaging their equipment while they're away from the beach. Leave one guy at the beach. I'm sorry. Would you? Also, why? Again, I don't know why she would sabotage their gas masks unless she wants to help Gimira. What is that about? I think this is convoluted for no reason, and there's a kaiju called Darren who shows up so that we can have a fight at the end of episode 1.
Yeah.
And again, a symptom of this not needing to be 2 episodes is like Darren shows up and it's like, well, okay, we already have the 2
immediately
important
dealt
kaiju in
with
this episode.
at the start of the second episode. In a sense, it's like feels like it was an obligation. For
the classic where like, oh man, Ultraman is gonna lose. Cut to next episode. Oh, it's resolved in like 2 seconds. Okay.
Yeah. But like it's just this sense of like we've got Lovrus, we've got Gimira. These are the 2 kaiju for the episode. Adding, they only need the 3rd one so they can so they can have a fight and create a cliffhanger. And I feel like at some point the plot sort of kind of stops caring about the resort thing. Because if they cared about the fact that everyone else was on the island and it wasn't just an Ito Sawako episode, these feel like 2 separate. Like when Sawako and Ito are at the forefront of the mind of the script, all other considerations are gone, and we're not really caring about the fact that we're trying to save the people on the island, and it just winds up with this weird kind of friction where Sawako is like trying to protect her home, but is also not doing. She doesn't care. She clearly doesn't care. I don't know. It's just a mess.
Yeah, I don't know what they're thinking. Like, this is dumb. Yeah, the guy who went to teleportation school who came by last week had an alien fiance who only shows up for these episodes the whole time. That he never interacts with.
I can teleport and I get alien pussy, bro. I'm the king. I'm a super guy. They think I'm Ultraman at UGM. They were like, oh, maybe I'm Ultraman. He's not quite on that level of OC-ness, but like there's a degree to which they've added a cool new guy and now he gets all the plot, and it's like, why?
When we barely knew the other 2 guys.
There were already characters here. What do you?
Yeah, we had a classroom full of them.
We had a classroom full of characters. 2, we have the captain, and you could add character to the other people in the team, but instead we've got cool guy Ito is here all the time.
Like when we had Taro, and for some reason we had 2 captains, and like one of them just fucked off for half the show.
Yeah.
Though Oyama is at least still here, and I do like him more than Ito, at least.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do still like this captain. He's a good captain. He's got the vibe.
Even if he should probably spend some prison time, but
that's just how it goes.
It's just how it goes.
I like the initial scenes of all the people getting like tentacles sucked off. Sorry, not sucked. Sorry, blood sucked.
That's better.
Tentacle blood sucked. I think it's a pretty good, like, the fact that the kaiju doesn't have any. Does Gimira have anything to do with tentacles?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think Gimira has tentacles. Which raises the question: whose tentacles are those?
Who was phone?
Exactly. No, Gimira does not have tentacles. Where did those tentacles come from?
He's got like a tentacle tongue thing.
Oh, does he? Oh, that might be what it is. Gimira tongue.
Yeah, he's got like some shit coming out of his tongue. Yeah, he's got his weird tongue with like little
a weird
tentacles on it.
multi-tongue.
Yeah.
Oh, we do. Oh, yeah. Yes.
Honestly, he's still at least a decent design, at least.
Yeah, Kimira's alright.
He's alright.
Especially with the tentacle tongue. It's just...
Affiliation, Lavris, slave, Darren, slave. Don't I don't know if I really use that word.
Hypnotized. I don't know. It's like it's a little strong.
It's a little strong.
Yeah. Ito. So the ending of the episode of the two-parter, she dies, gives him her life.
Yeah.
He revives. She's gone. Classic woman exist to die. And also to give.
Is this a medical miracle?
It's a medical disaster. But I guess it's a medical miracle.
Okay, I'll hit the button.
You can hit the button.
I believe in medical miracle. Ultraman, thank you.
We're not at 22.
Thank you very much, Mel. It's weird to do this for Ito, who is not in these episodes.
Oh, he's there. He's the kaiju.
Yeah, he's not enough of a presence to make this work.
But yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. Like, the fact he's like goes to investigate and things turn into a kaiju immediately, and then like we barely get him at all. Like at least Jonah was an on-screen presence before she got possessed into kaiju in the episode.
I'm like when Ito when Ito got and they had to go rescue him, I was like, this is a good premise for an episode. But then the rest of the episode was about how this woman is so in love with Ito and they never meet, basically. And I was like, this is a disaster. Whose fault is this episode?
This is the fault of both Noriaki Yuasa as well as writer Bunpei Ai.
What is going on?
They were sure better when they had to actually make school stuff.
They were. They really were. Maybe this is their protest.
Special effects director is Kazuo Sagawa. Darren's suit actor is Tsuyoshi Shimizu. Gamera's suit actor was Junichi Iwai. And Lavras' suit actor is Takashi Yamazaki.
Thank you very much. Yeah, maybe their protest is they're deliberately making subpar episodes. This is not true. They're doing
why the UGM art is actually brilliant, because it was bad on purpose.
Yes, it was bad. It was bad on purpose.
In fact, makes it immune to criticism because it was intentional, as artistic intent.
Exactly. Wow, you sound like you've maybe experienced some conversations on the internet, Mel.
You've been talking to Wolfie again?
Yeah.
What else do we have to say about these episodes?
Chaos. Gas.
Space chaos.
Space chaos. They didn't need to call it that. They really didn't.
No, they did. They did.
It was actually a really high-minded reference to like the Roman god of chaos.
Yeah, they're emulating Michael Moorcock's
Moorcock.
writing.
Yeah. That was Elric Juice.
Yeah. If only they were ripping off Moorcock.
They should.
Yeah.
What is Ultraman but an eternal champion?
Oh, so true. Well, I mean, he's on the side of law.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Although, here's the thing. In Moorcock's universe, I'm kind of on the whole thing with the chaos law stuff in Moorcock is so cool because the fucking chaos is like, what if Great Man Theory was real and like everyone who had magic could be a great man, and it's like the worst world you could possibly imagine. and then the law world is like, he goes to like a law world and like it's less vivid, but like the idea of law is like it's a world where fate has more sway, where like, and it's like you can, like, history is not dictated by the whims of men with power, and it's like it's so much juice. Elric's cool.
I also like
Elric is sometimes not cool. I remember one of the short stories I read was extremely racist. I was like,
I do want to say it's almost 3 p.m. for me.
Okay, we can keep going. Oh Christ, it's nearly 8 p.m. Jesus. Episode 19, The Order to Destroy the Stray Star, featuring Gauss. A stray star that scientists have romantically named Red Rose is heading straight for Earth. The UGM branches of the world are convening to discuss a solution, and a plan is decided upon, and it is named Operation Red Rose. The Japan UGM branch will launch in their spaceship and escort the world's nukes to intercept Red Rose at a designated point in space, and once there they will launch the world's nukes at the star and destroy it. This will destroy the star, and also 4 planets that UGM are pretty sure are uninhabited. One of them is called Gauss, and Takeshi is like, okay, well that one is definitely inhabited, but I guess I can't say that. I gotta do something. Takeshi is supposed to stay at HQ during this operation, but he knocks out Harada and he says, oh yeah, he's anemic or something, I guess I'll come with you instead. When the spaceship, captained by Chief Ito, arrives at the designated area and scans reveal that Gauss is inhabited. Takeshi pleads with Ito, but Ito makes his decision. It's for the sake of Earth. They launch the nukes, destroy Red Rose, and they head home. Ito is shaken by the fact he's just committed genocide. Back at base, Ito announces to the rest of the team that these events will be kept secret to not cause a public disturbance. What's important is that Earth was saved. But wait, a strange reading. Something has come to Earth from the region of space where Gauss used to be. It's a weird cloud, and nobody can shoot it down. The cloud turns into the giant kaiju Gauss. UGM launches to fight back. Takeshi crashes and turns into Ultraman. He defeats Gauss, but stops before destroying it. He instead teleports the kaiju to a planet with a similar environment to the planet Gauss and wishes it well. 80 teleports back to Earth and turns back into Takeshi. The day is saved-ish. Ito sits in UGM head HQ and wonders if he did the right thing. Sarah says, Earth was saved, and that's what's important, right? And Ito says, yeah, sure. The end.
Yeah. I guess it's something like this.
There is, I feel like, a new classification we've started to get of these episodes that I would like to call, we're not going to kill the monster, but our heart really isn't in it all the way. That I feel like this is a perfect shining example of.
I think we can go a step further here. I think we can say, I don't know if this is a classification of episodes, but it fits in with this vibe, is the idea that we didn't kill the monster, and that means it's basically fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like I referenced this an oddly high amount of times in this podcast, but the fucking Kevin Smith talking about him almost making that Superman movie, where he talks about his argument with the producer, where he's like, well, have Superman kill one polar bear and then have a second one run off so the PETA people aren't mad about it. And it's like, that doesn't actually solve the... like, you can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
No. I absolutely think this is just like the episode that one of the Ultra 7 episodes this is riffing on is the
turns out is the most, but we'll get to that.
What is the episode?
It's it's Super Weapon R1 featuring Starbem Geron.
Starbem Geron, that's what it's called. The Geron episode is fantastic. And the thing about the Geron episode is I think it would be worse because obviously we're always talking about how Ultraman always has to kill the monster. We do not necessarily mean therefore it's better to make an Ultraman show where the Ultraman saves the monster when the monster deserves to be saved. Because I think an episode like
Like
Geron,
Marucci episode.
like the Marucci episode,
Like even
I think
the Makoto episode we just watched for Omega.
Yeah. I think the episode of Ultra 7 where he kills Geron and it's like sad, and it's like this. It's supposed to be this extreme like moment of shame for the cast and for Dan as well. I think it works really well in Ultra 7. Similarly in Ultra 7 we get episodes like fucking the Non-Malt episode. But like here we've got like we blow up the planet and hang on.
It's worth noting that they blow up the planet with like launching every nuke on Earth, all contained within 5 rockets from like the 5 big countries, which all dock into an elaborate and kind of cool looking docking sequence.
Yeah, sorry, I'm back. Yes, the warheads of the world unite as the nukes all like dock together to go launch into the sun is like once again Tsuburaya love to have the virtuous intercontinental ballistic missile.
Yes.
Yeah, the virtuous missiles. Tsuburaya can't get enough of virtuous missiles. What was I talking about before I had to go away?
Just like sometimes just because a kaiju should be spared doesn't mean the episode's better if it is spared.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta
in
lead
this
to the
episode,
tragedy sometimes.
yeah, in this episode, it's supposed to be you got this grand tragedy of you destroyed a whole fucking planet, and there were things living there, and then we get this little half-hearted triumph. This
Good thing there is another empty planet.
That's
we
exactly
get to
the
send the kids home happy by sending them to this
notably
by
like
sending them
sole
to Namek
survivor
2.
of what seems to be a civilization or something.
Exactly.
Colin, do I press the genocide button on this one?
It's trying. I don't think so because it's trying to lean into. It doesn't do a good job, but I don't think so. Not on this one.
I don't think so either.
Because we've got like the scene going back to Earth where Ito's like staring at Earth and
remember we did count the non-Malta episode. We just didn't press the button. But
we can count it, but like we just
Yeah.
I don't think press the button.
I don't
this
think it's
time.
hard, and that's
okay. Okay, I might increase the counter, and I also have to check if like I actually included Starbam Gero in the original one because I don't know if that one actually counts.
Lol. The other Ultraman episode that is being the other Ultra 7 episode that is being riffed on here is the Pegasa episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would say is like a neat wrinkle to like redo the Starbam Gero episode with like the Pegasa moral quandary, because like in the R1 episode they were like, yeah, we got this cool missile and we're just gonna try it on someone, and they didn't really think about it. It was just like, yeah, it's gonna be so cool, and they do it. And this one is like there is like the moral quandary of like, oh, we have to like save ourselves, but who do we hurt in the process of saving ourselves, which adds like the trolley problem thing that makes it a bit more interesting. I say more interesting, but it's more like if you're going to retread an episode, it adds like a new wrinkle that makes it more interesting than if you just did it verbatim. I appreciate that up until the point that the episode kind of just like
gives up.
gives up, kind of,
You had a cool cloud, and then you had to turn it into a monster. You could have kept it as a cool cloud, IMO.
They could have kept a cool cloud. They could have.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
They didn't.
Who made this episode?
Just as I closed the booklet. This one...
Idiot.
Yeah. Was made by Samaji... Oh, wait, no. Oh, yeah, Samaji Nonagase and then Bunzo Wakatsuki.
Hey,
Okay.
Bunzo Wakatsuki.
Yeah.
I failed.
Yeah.
I cocked up his name. I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
I fucked up Jono's name earlier, so it's fine.
Special X director Koichi Kano. Gauss suit actors Takashi Yamazaki. Getting some trivia for this episode from the wiki.
Ooh.
The production of this episode stemmed from a proposal by Bunzo Wakatsuki, who wished to create a similar story to Ultra 7 Episode 26, Super Weapon R1. Wakatsuki, who served as a writer for the episode, greatly admired the episode's storyline. However, he felt a deep sense of guilt for Starbem Giron each time he reflected on the episode. For that reason, Wakatsuki wished to focus on Ultraman 80's saving monster, first viewed as perpetrators, to create a form of atonement for the death of Giron. In this way, the episode in the former one were contrasted as as former was meant as a redemption of the latter, I guess, something. Some of this wiki could be cleaned up grammatically. I just copy-pasted because I was lazy.
Bro, you lost it.
During the production of Super Weapon R1, the backdrop of America's military nuclear test affected Wakatsuki. He reflected that in his younger years he had been impulsive in his writing, perhaps even too forward-thinking. As he grew older at the time, because now he's in his 50s, his reflections deepened and he desired to revisit the themes of anti-nuclear sentiment with a fresh perspective.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
What do you mean by... Do you mean that you were too harsh on nuclear weapons back then?
He was too harsh on the American testing, apparently.
I can't believe you, man. This is...
I don't know what he's trying to say, but it sounds like, oh man, I felt bad for killing the kaiju, and I want to be nice to the kaiju this time.
I want to be nice to the kaiju this time. I've lost that bloodthirsty edge.
Yeah,
true.
This is just a classic case of, like, you know, some writers, they mature and they become better, mature from being, like, a little edgier. They become better writers. Some writers, they do their best work when they're a little edgier. And when they're just going in a little harder.
Yeah.
I don't, you know.
Also,
I
apparently,
think this is a miss.
This episode apparently aired originally on August 6th, which is the anniversary of the atomic bombings in Hiroshima. Because of that, mentions of nuclear bombs were actually removed from the original TV broadcast, though they later added them back in the home releases.
Censors are so fucking funny sometimes.
How did they remove the reference to the nukes that were used to blow up the star?
I think it's very easy. You just make it so that you don't reference the part where they're nukes, and instead, what you see on TV is they just look like rockets. Yeah.
Well, I guess what you do is you don't include the scenes of nuclear weapons being launched from right next to famous landmarks from the countries that.
Oh yeah, like Soviet montage theory.
It was so funny when the rocket launched and I could see the Arc de Triomphe in the shot.
No, what happens is like you see the shot of the landmark and it cuts to a shot of the launching.
So, that's what they're doing. Yes. Okay,
if you want to see another movie that maybe attempts Soviet montage theory, go listen to the upcoming Tomorrow at the time of record. Turtle Tea Time with whatever the fuck super Gamera super monster is.
It just seemed like you're having an interesting time with the last couple of those.
When do you get to the good ones?
Next month, though. Somehow, despite Super Monster being charitable to be defined as a movie, I did enjoy it more than some of the previous movies than recent ones.
You know,
go listen to it.
I did want to highlight that this director, because I was like, I know we've talked about Nonagase before, but it's been a minute. That's because the last thing he worked on was in fucking Ultra 7. This is an Ultra Q, Ultraman, and Ultra 7 guy that's been gone since Ultra 7.
They literally just grabbed, like, some 60s guys for this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, it has some of that 60s energy, and then it just injects some of that 80s optimism into it, and I go, no!
Oh, this is the same director of, I forgot. Fury of the South Sea.
Oh, no.
Bluestone of Barati. This is that guy.
Did you do Super Weapon R1?
No, was that the name of the episode?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
What okay. Do you have the episode number?
26 of Ultra 7.
No.
Okay. Yeah, 80s optimism from the not communist side is depressing.
Yes.
Pizza Hut
It's
over the
just-
horizon.
Getting older and being like I was maybe too harsh on nuclear weapons is fucking crazy.
It just sounds like he just got too conservative.
Yeah, it's just but like getting like softening on nuclear weapons is like such a bizarre like version of getting more conservative as you get older. It's hilarious. Japanese man ages 10 years and goes, maybe it's fine for America to have nukes.
Just them. Though.
Crazy.
It reminds me of like I had like a former friend from the Philippines who was like, yeah, I know the US is like a bad like imperialist power on influence on my country, the Philippines, but also China bad and scary, so maybe the devil I know is better than the devil I don't. I'm like, the US colonized you, what the fuck?
Grim.
Yeah.
Wow. Are we done talking about Ultraman this week?
I would like to be done talking about this. Is
Yeah.
First things first.
Bad 7 episodes the past
Bad
2
7
weeks.
episodes. Mel.
Yeah.
Color timers.
Yeah, episode 16, 4 minutes 50 seconds. Episode 17, 3 minutes 2 seconds. But it's incomplete. Episode 18, the first bit of the fight concludes in 49 seconds, which means the consolidated fight is 3 minutes 51 seconds. Why did they even bother? The actual fight of episode 18 is 2 minutes 39 seconds, and then episode 19 is 2 minutes 42 seconds.
Sick.
Also, depending on math, I guess I'll have to go double check. The genocide counter may have been increased to 11 and maybe 12 if I have to retroactively add Garo, but I'll see.
Okay. Well, that is Ultraman this week. We are very disappointed. I guess Mel knew that this was coming.
Well, the thing is, I was also disappointed actually experiencing it. It's like the thing with Ace, where like, yeah, I know it's coming, but actually experiencing
you were
it.
secretly disappointed on our first podcast of Ultraman 80, is what was happening.
Yeah,
it's pretty impressive acting.
Like, I have some friends who are like, well, I watched all of 80 and I liked the whole thing, and I'm like, well, I hope that means it's good, and so far it has not paid out. Maybe it's one of those cases where like they're hit their stride later, but it'll still feel like the downgrade will still be felt.
I understand why this is the one that never gets fucking talked about now. At least.
Well, luckily, we have lots of good Ultraman to look forward to from this show because it's going to be the best one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Clearly, the arc after the UGM arc is gonna be killer.
Yeah, when he becomes like a professional volleyball player.
God,
if he's just skipping around professions.
You know what? That turned it right around.
It's gonna be the best show ever.
Every episode, it's like, oh, he's a house painter now.
He's a plumber.
Yeah, he's a plumber, electrician. He's
in a
like
factory less horny
line.
golden boy.
I'm thinking now of like the gag of like the short YouTube video, like the guy who's like the plumber and like the woman keeps trying to hit on him and he doesn't get it.
Oh yeah.
He's like, well, if you clean my pipes, maybe I can clean your pipes. May I do my own plumbing?
Before we finish talking about Ultraman, I have a very important question / a bet we need to take. Does that one teacher he kind of had the hots for show up in the finale to be his love interest?
She's
or do they just replace her with
down
Jono?
if she's just out of the show now?
So to be clear, this is not something I don't know. I don't know the future on this part. But I will say I doubt it. I doubt she's ever come back. I bet they dropped everybody.
The way that they have been framing Jono, I bet she's like the new love interest lead lady.
Yeah, there's a new woman down the hallway.
Ultraman does love to have new women down the hallways.
Crony voice, I think I'm gonna kill myself soon. Okay, we're done talking about Ultraman. We're gonna take a break. We'll be back to talk about fucking anything else, thank God.
Yippee!
Are we back in it then?
I think so.
Let me sit down. Oi. We're back in. Hello. Welcome. I don't know why I've adopted this voice.
I came back with the carnitas taco flavored Pringle. I'm gonna do a live taste test.
Okay.
That's all right.
Hey, Brad.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get the Discotheque release of Darkstalkers for the pod?
Yes, I am.
Okay, awesome. I'm not, but
Did me doing a taste test remind you of Darkstalkers? Because I did
Yes.
that at the start of the last
yes,
one. That's
exactly what
hilarious.
happened.
There is a shockingly high amount of me taste testing different types of chip in the result, in like us doing this podcast and related recordings. Because I also got that dog shit Doritos thing from Subway that one time.
Sorry. My brain.
Did you do
was
the
like
crisp thing again?
2 weeks in a row.
My
Oh.
brain was expecting a flavor, and you said dog shit. I was like, I don't think they make those. Oh.
Yeah.
I did not do this. The last when I did the chip, it was not fake. It was completely real. You were talking about like I had ketchup chips, and I was like, is
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
do they not do that in America?
Yeah.
Okay, we back in.
We're
Yeah.
back.
Who wanna go?
I'll go first.
Go.
You go.
I've done nothing. Except
Nice.
for like
Again.
I watched the second Saint Seiya movie yesterday. I was like, yeah, that's another Toei movie. Anyway, it looks pretty good though.
Classic Toei movie.
We could transition from Toei movie to Toho movies, unless Red feels very strongly that they want to go next.
I will permit it.
Okay. Shin Godzilla was in theaters, as discussed last podcast we recorded.
So
How was that?
technically, it was the Calcast before last because we recorded a makeup.
Oh, that's true. So,
Got him. Anyway,
yeah, I have to go walk into the woods now and repent. Okay, this is weird. So, I still really like Shin Godzilla. One caveat.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only time I can think of I have gotten motion sickness watching a movie.
Ooh.
oh wow,
Like, there's a point about 30 minutes in this movie where, like, there's a lot of them walking and talking real fast down hallways and stuff. And they kind of do the shaky cam thing. I don't know what it was. Maybe, you know what? I did get, like, sick later in the week / yesterday. So maybe I had something that I just didn't know of yet that was kind of brewing. But, like, I don't know. Like, there was a point, like, partway through this movie, and like I do get motion sick in car rides sometimes when I'm like a passenger, and I also can't do roller coasters, so like this is just like a thing I have sometimes with stuff in my life, but I've never had it like in a theater before. And just something about like a specific shot of this movie, I had to like avert my gaze because I felt like, oh, I might get sick. Like, it was really weird. So that was a new experience, but I still like Shin Godzilla. I think -1 still edges it out for me in terms of like modern Godzilla stuff. I still like -1 a lot. Weird, criticisms aside of how it handles the nationalism.
yeah. Some people are definitely like really harsh on like it's kind of softening of Imperial Japan's responsibility for stuff.
I'm of two minds of that with that movie. And it's tricky for me because one, I think the fact that a lot of it is colored for me of like I want to be more negative because that movie comes from a country where there is a active cultural war happening right now of denialism that makes its absence more felt, in my opinion.
Tune into our last Golden Camry pod where I talk about Japanese fascism, by the way.
I still gotta do that at some point. Because I do want to listen, because it sounds like you guys went hard on, like, that stuff, and I just
I was very exhausted.
Yeah.
There was a liberal faction in the Meiji, the Meiji Restoration that was doing normal Empire stuff, and then there was the right-wing faction of the Meiji Restoration that like named itself "Let's Invade Korea."
Yeah. I think that was one that you made like a little clip of.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that. So
Red's reaction was really good.
my thing with -1 is I find myself caught in a tension between I wish it was more open about that stuff, but also at the same time too, sometimes when people talk about -1, I feel like they want the character to turn directly to the camera and then give a long bullet list of Japanese war crimes, which I also do not think is the move either. And like I there's definitely ways that movie could, I think, be more open about like, hey, there are atrocities here, that there's like part of the like repair that we need to do as a country is coming to terms with that stuff, which, you know, very clearly did not happen in real life. But then also too, when I think about like the point of view and perspective of that movie are a very heavily indoctrinated people coming to grips with the fact that they were indoctrinated. It's like, I can see how some of that stuff maybe wouldn't be at the most forefront of mind for people going through that lived experience. I think the part, to me, weirdly enough, of that movie that I'm like, okay, bro, you need to chill the fuck out, is how much he wants to fuck that plane. He really wants to fuck that plane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway, Shin Godzilla.
Shin Godzilla, I was gonna say. Shin Godzilla, the closest we get to that is the scene of all the military guys gripping their fists as they don't get to shoot at Godzilla in his weird fucked up form before he becomes an actual threat, because there are civilians evacuating still. And if only we had the ability to just accept that those losses were there and actually fire on our target, maybe this whole disaster could have been avoided. There's some of that in that movie. But
Hokuto letting the people through.
yeah. But I think
why did he still have his job?
Yamanaka, why did you have to have a job?
But yeah, I think the office bureaucracy politicking of that movie, of like the phone call trees that have to happen to get certain like responses made, and also just like old people that have been in this position for way too long, just like completely detached from reality, not listening to the words of the younger people that have more of a grasp of the situation. Like there's a lot of fun stuff there.
Yeah. I definitely know the movie like definitely is like coming out in like response to the earthquake tsunami stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Which I might be doing some research on at some point, but anyway.
That is something. There have been like documentaries and some stuff that like I do feel like I want to at some point in my life like take a longer look at some of the stuff that
the main thing I know about it is there was a guy who was responsible for making sure that it was not way worse than it was, and he immediately got arrested afterwards because he disobeyed orders or something.
So I haven't had very nice things to say about the show in the past, but this is related. There is a whole episode of that new Unsolved Mysteries show about ghost sightings that people have had after that disaster, and there's a whole section dedicated to them being like, okay, like ghost story stuff aside, like this is kind of from a psychology standpoint a very interesting look at like the response people had to like seeing things in the wake of like some of these people came back to neighborhoods where like 10% of the population like came back. Like it kind of an interesting like how do you wrestle with that? Like it was but yeah, it's a whole thing that like this movie is definitely coming out of a lot of like just people being furious with how the government disaster response was, and not only that, but also like the media response of just like sometimes they were being told things that were out of date, and like just the actual what people were experiencing on the ground, like, they did not have the information or, like, the response required both from officials, but also, like, information dispersal of, like, where should people be going and what's the best thing to do given what current knowledge of the situation was.
Yeah.
Just a shit show all around. And a lot of that prevailing attitude definitely pulls through in this movie. The one thing I think Godzilla fandom really latched onto in this movie is the weird fucked up evolutionary tract that Godzilla takes, and something I had completely forgotten about that I won't spoil just in case anyone. I'm assuming most people listening to this have probably seen it, but if not,
I've seen it like years ago, so
yeah.
I have never seen this movie.
Oh, I think this is a good one. This is the movie that makes me go like, fuck. I know it still does have it sometimes.
Just you finish, say your spoiler, and then I'll have a question for you.
What the final shot of the movie is?
Oh yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's an interesting angle to take with
cool
the Godzilla evolution thing. Is really strong.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were you gonna say?
How do you compare it to the other Shin movies?
It's still definitely my favorite. I think Shin Ultraman's all right.
Yeah.
I think it feels a little too much like a compilation movie sometimes.
Yeah, that's my thing, because I feel like this is the most like an actual movie.
Yes, I agree.
And then Shin Ultraman is like, this is a compilation movie. That's pretty alright. And then I think Shin Kamen Rider is a much more horribly paced and compressed compilation movie as well.
Mel, I don't know if you have the same thing I do. I feel like people have ended up landing pretty positive in Shin Kamen Rider, and I'm kind of just like, how?
Yeah, I am. I watched it because I was like, oh, people like it. I'll see how it is. And then I was like, what the fuck did I watch? I just don't care for it. I don't like Shin Kamen Rider.
I think that movie's a mess.
I forget because like I listened to it like a long ago, but I think I remember feeling in line with you and Fang's position in that podcast.
Yeah.
That you did.
Yeah, like there's some cool stuff in there, but it doesn't work as a movie.
I love when the main heroines, when the main villain's like, I created utopia, and then the main girl's like, no, it's dystopia. And I'm like, wow, that's so smart writing. And clapping.
What if we did human instrumentality again? Okay, I will say, what
if the special effects were good?
I don't. Some people count the Rebuild movies as the first Shin project retroactively. I think I'd still put Shin Godzilla over Shin.
I think that's what Anno does. I think Anno specifically
probably.
does this.
I would put Shin Godzilla slightly above that fourth Rebuild. Probably.
Yeah.
I think there's stuff in that fourth Rebuild I like a fair bit. I just think the ending is fourth. But... I think the ending itself is kind of mid, but the rest of that movie is mostly fine.
Yeah, I'd say so. But yeah, one day I'll maybe watch Shin Godzilla. But
they're re-releasing it in black and white, and I think that this is a gimmick that needs to die. I think with Godzilla -1, it was kind of fun given the time period it came out in. I don't think Shin Godzilla benefits from being in black and white at all.
Unlike Johnny Mnemonic.
No, yeah.
Unlike your podcast.
True.
Of course.
No, that was the greatest benefit ever.
Black and white re-release of the Godzilla -1 Shin podcast.
Yeah, that was good.
What was the Godzilla movie right before Shin Godzilla? I'd be curious to watch that.
No, wait, it's not. I think it was like the Gap. I think they may have been Final Wars on it, actually.
Oh yeah, because wasn't there a gap because they sold the rights to, like, didn't Legendary
the first Legendary movie had been out at that point. So the first one, like, technically speaking, the first Toho, the last Toho movie would have been Final Wars, but like the last movie in general probably would have been the Legendary movie.
Because wasn't there a thing where, like, they sold the rights to Legendary, and part of the agreement was you can't make, like, a Japanese Godzilla movie for a bit while we're cooking with our MonsterVerse stuff. And by the time Shin Godzilla and, like, Godzilla -1, like, part of the reasons, from what I've been told at least, that Shin Godzilla and Godzilla -1 are kind of more of a return to, like, serious dramatic storytelling and maybe less leaning on the fun toku, like, monster romp stuff is they wanted to, like, they had a bone to pick with, like, we got some shit to say, and, like, we want to, like, outshine what the American productions are doing. Which,
yeah,
like,
where fucking
they
King
do,
Kong gets a robot gauntlet.
yeah, which they do. Like, that is a hydrogen bomb coughing baby. Okay, maybe I shouldn't use hydrogen bomb. That's a little fucked up, given the nature of the... But it is a...
It's oxygen
like,
destroyer coughing baby.
Oxygen destroyer coughing baby. They are running circles around what Legendary is doing.
That's definitely true.
Movies.
Like,
and I say this as someone that likes Godzilla 2014, I feel like more than most people do.
I thought Skull Island was alright.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mel, we should maybe get back to our Toho
Yeah, I was
watch-along.
thinking.
It's been a minute.
The next movie is Ghidorah.
I'd be down to watch a Ghidorah. Oh, we want to do that for next week?
Yeah, I mean, I need something to do.
Okay, let's do it. So that's Shin Godzilla. Still a great movie. Had a good time. Doesn't need to be released.
The next Monsters movie is Godzilla X Kong Supernova.
Oh.
That'll be why you haven't continued.
Anyway.
I said I had 2 things. I actually have 3 because I almost forgot about one. This will be short. Me and my friends last night watched Rush Hour 2 and 3.
Wait, okay.
I never watched those.
Diminishing returns, I will say. Rush Hour 3, not as bad as I remembered it being. Definitely the weakest of the 3. There's a really transphobic joke that goes on for way too long, unfortunately. But I remember it being like absolute dog shit, and there's at least like some funny stuff in there. Those movies were a time. Boy, are they racist. Also, has the get him to the Greek thing of like everyone involved various degrees of canceled now. The director was part of the Me Too stuff. Jackie Chan disowned his lesbian daughter. Chris Tucker in the Epstein flight logs, including one flight he took with Bill Clinton and Kevin Spacey. What a trio.
What a trio.
Okay.
Yeah. But, you know, all that stuff aside, you know, those are the wacky buddy cop movies I remember watching as a kid.
Wow.
Yeah. I should probably watch more buddy cop movies.
I want to watch more martial arts films, Hong Kong action cinema.
Yes, Oh, go ahead.
I just say I don't know where to fucking start with that shit because it's not like going down the kaiju list with Toho where I mean it's just like, oh yeah, an entire genre from an entire film industry. Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. I keep meaning to watch the Infernal Affairs trilogy.
No,
which I did not realize that The Departed is like a Western adaptation of the first of those movies.
It's
but
not. Go for it.
I also know that that's less like Hong Kong action and more like police procedural thriller. But
yeah, so Mel, you could. I mean, first of all, the Hong Kong like martial arts action films, you could take a step in that direction.
Yeah,
and you could instead watch Hong Kong John Woo movies.
I guess that's true. Like I think like Infernal Affairs. Did John do one of the Ip Man movies or no? Was it not?
I don't know.
But I know he did like Infernal Affairs and stuff like that. But yeah, I know there's probably like a good chance of like, oh yeah, just go down the list of Shaw Brothers movies and you'll get a bunch of them. But
I don't actually think John Woo did Infernal. Who did Infernal Affairs? Let me look up Infernal Affairs.
Yeah, I'm not.
John Woo did like things like The Killer and Hard Boiled.
Andrew Lau and Alan Mock. I hope I'm saying that right for the first one at the very least.
Mm-hmm. 2002, man.
And I the vibe I've gotten from Infernal Affairs as well is that they're less actiony and more like gritty thriller, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched them, but
You could like I guess you could like pick an actor or something. I mean, we were just talking about Jackie Chan, but like you could pick someone like
Jet Li.
Oh, Jet Li, yeah.
You can watch Cradle to the Grave. That's not in Hong Kong, but have you ever wanted to watch DMX play a guy named like Anthony Fate or something?
Yeah.
I think that's his name.
It is extremely cool and fun to like think of like, oh, John was a bunch of like maybe grittier Chinese movies, and also he did Face Off.
Mm-hmm. God.
Fucking Face Off.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, Mel. What's the actor who's been the actor who's been getting really big in like she won an Oscar for like the fucking the
Everywhere all at once.
Yeah.
I guess it's true, yeah.
What's her name?
There's definitely like a
Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh. Yeah, there we go. Michelle Yeoh.
Definitely, like,
she
watch
was
Bruce Lee
in
stuff
Hong
as well.
Kong, a bunch of Hong Kong action movies.
Yeah. Lots of options.
You could just pick one of her movies and just go for it.
Yeah.
Well, Rush Hour.
Rush Hour. Yeah, those movies are buddy cop comedy slop. Yeah. They're an alright time. I don't got too much to say about them other than that was the thing I watched.
Comedy ages. Classic.
It does. The first one's still the best, in part because there's a scene where like a little girl gets like held hostage, and I believe
she
it's
yells, push the fucking button.
Yes, yes. Amazing scene. That first movie does also have Jackie Chan saying the N-word.
It does. It does.
Something I will actually say, I did not realize until like we were looking some stuff up about these movies as we were watching them, but like it's something that I feel like watching it you don't really realize until it's pointed out to you. Jackie Chan in those first two movies is really struggling to like learn English, and he barely understands what is being said to him.
I've seen an interview talking about watching Rush Hour and hearing like the audience laugh and him being like, "This I don't like this movie. I don't understand."
Yeah, like he really does a good job acting through it and like killing it, and like you really don't pick up on it until like you learn, like you read the interviews where he's just like, yeah, like I recorded entire scenes and sequences for both the first two movies where I just like I had completely no context or idea of what exactly was happening. Like he just kind of had to fake it till they make it sort of thing. Yeah. But he does a good job working through that language barrier, all things considered. It's really phenomenal job. But yeah, the other thing I watched, I really, for no reason other than I was just taking a peek at things on my Blu-ray shelf, and I went, I should watch something. What should I watch? I watched the 4K remaster of the Blade Runner Final Cut. That's a really good 4K remaster.
Nice. That was the movie I watched months ago. Specifically that cut, because that seems to be the one that people say you should watch.
So that's actually the deeper thing I was going to get into. So what I had learned is that apparently the 4K remaster of that movie in particular is viewed as so good that it's often used as a selling point on 4K like Ultra HD Blu-ray format of like why it was justified. And I can like see it. Like it's a very good version of that movie. But I did kind of had the thing where I went, I know that there's a fuck ton of there's a shit ton of versions of Blade Runner. I've only ever seen the theatrical one and the Final Cut versions.
Yeah.
And I got kind of curious. So I ended up actually getting a Blu-ray of the other, like, basically it was like an anniversary Blu-ray thing that they did that has 5 different versions of Blade Runner on it.
Yeah.
Not available in 4K. The only one available in 4K, I believe, is that final cut.
Yeah.
But I was, like, curious, beyond, like, the unicorn dream stuff and, like, the narration being, like, the big 2 changes everyone knows about, like, what are, like, the really, like, greebly, like, tiny details and stuff that get changed that
like, this
people
is interesting
have
to me
opinions about?
because, like, the degree to which there's so many different cuts and they're, like, fundamental changes in a way made me think, like, to what degree are you just not watching the same movie as someone else? Like, someone who just, like, saw Blade Runner in theaters when it came out, is how much are they just not watching the same movie as someone who, like, watches the final cut today?
Mm-hmm. The big one that I'm already starting to lose track of some of the differences, but I think I have landed on the one that might be the cut that I fuck with the most is actually the director's cut that was made before the final cut.
Oh, interesting.
Which is the one that removes the happy ending that was kind of studio mandated and shoehorned in, and the voiceover. And it does add the unicorn dream thing. But it doesn't have all of the stuff that the final cut adds, that, like, a lot of it I feel like is kind of a little superfluous. And I think maybe leans in on the unicorn origami, like, gaff stuff a little bit more. So the thing with Blade Runner and the whole is Deckard a replicant thing, I do land on what I feel like is the common, like, film critic perspective on it, of, like, that movie is a lot more interesting if you assume Harrison Ford is a human, and, like, he has to wrestle with, like, the personhood of the replicants. But I do like the unicorn stuff being in there, in the sense that I do feel like as soon as you have, like, I feel like it is a very natural part of the human experience, too. As soon as you realize stuff like artificial implanted memories are a thing in the world, I think that the natural logical progression is, like, what if my memories are fake? And I think the unicorn stuff being there, and the doubt a little bit with, like, him finding the unicorn origami with Gaff, does at least kind of add to the experience of living in that world and being in the position that Deckard is in, where he has to then grapple with, like, well, am I real then? Because I think that any person would start to have those doubts. Even if I do think it's more interesting, like, that the answer is, like, well, you're just a human. I don't really like him being a replicant. I think it takes away a lot of the interesting ideas that movie is going for.
Yeah, also, interesting if there was, like, a different, like, guy who looked exactly like Harrison Ford, called, like, Ash the Bloody, who was like Sonic the Hedgehog came in.
True. The other thing that I hope at some point they do a different 4K version of this that maybe does do some of the cuts is so the final cut also played around with the color grading, and it does the Matrix thing, where it adds, like, a teal filter over parts of the movie that used to not have it. Okay. And I actually think it makes a lot of the indoor lighting in, like the whole scene at the end with, like, Roy and Batty chasing each other around the abandoned building looks really good, and I actually think benefits a lot from it. Same with, like, any scene involving, like, them being, like, on the rainy streets. Like, anything that's already kind of bluish, I actually feel like that color grading really elevates. But when you get the scenes where they're in the city and there's a lot of orange lights, or any scene where he's in his, like, flying car flying around and there's all, like, the orange lights and, like, the neon signs and stuff, it ends up dulling a lot of that, and I actually just think that the older version looked a lot better without the filter.
So basically, so to be clear, you did watch all 5 versions, right?
No. So I watched the director's cut. I want to watch. So there is also a work print cut that I want to watch. The order goes: there's a work print cut that was only shown selectively to, like, test audiences, and they didn't like it. So then we got the theatrical cut, which has a lot of the studio fuckery and, like, the mandated happy ending that they used with reused footage, like I think cut footage from The Shining was used to create that.
Oh, jeez.
As well as the narration, which is just awful, and Harrison Ford did not clearly want to do. There's a international cut, which is basically the theatrical cut, but they added in some of the, like, bloodier action. Like, the scene where that lady, like, the replicant lady gets shot in the back and, like, falls through all that glass.
Yeah.
The theatrical cut had to tone down some of that. I think some of the stuff with, like, Deckard's fingers getting broken and shit like that, too, had to be toned down, too, for US theaters. So the international cut adds in all that violence back. The director's cut is where they finally remove the narration and, like, do all that stuff, and then the final cut adds even more stuff and fixes a few random odds and ends. The only other one I want to watch is that work print cut, just because apparently it is the other one that is, like, very different. And I'm curious how it compares to, like, the later versions, like the director's cut and final cut. But I'll get to that, hopefully, some other... Like, I've watched too much Blade Runner in too short of an amount of time. Yeah. So, next time I feel the mood of watching it. Also, too, apparently it's just very ugly, because, like, they haven't really done any restoration to it. Like, it is just the old work print. So, I'll watch it at some point, just to see what it was like. But...
Yeah, I'm kind of curious now to watch the director's cut at some point, but I'm also, like, still not sure how
it's basically it's basically the final cut, but with a few things missing.
Okay.
So...
It's not even like the end of the world kind of thing. Like
no, it's very like in the weeds, like stuff basically.
Yeah. I didn't even think of the teal color filter. That's pretty funny.
Yeah,
it's also very aggressively on the sequels.
Yeah. Like, I am starting to have a knee jerk, and I'm sure if I knew more about this stuff, I would understand why maybe it's used a little bit more. And it's maybe one of those examples where, like, maybe it's one of those things where the bad instances stand out as being so egregious, and, like, when it is done to good effect, people just don't talk about it, so, like, you're not even noticing that it's happening. But, like, I know that, like, the HD, like, Blu-ray releases of, like the Matrix movies, they have, like, a really aggressive green filter applied that when you look at the comparisons, it's like, oh, some of these scenes just look really ugly now compared to how they used to look. That, like, I'm starting to become a guy that has, like, knee-jerk, like, when I see, like, aggressive color grading shit, I'm like, ugh. But yeah. I know that also, too, someone did a fan edit of Blade Runner that made it so that, they reorganize scenes so that it, like, is more from the point of view of the replicant. Like, instead of being a movie that's about Deckard's POV and then we cut to the replicants, it's from the replicant's POV and then they cut to Deckard, and apparently it's a very interesting, like, piece to consider, like, what that does to the experience of watching it, where, like, it just makes Deckard feel more like an overt villain. And I'm like, that sounds like a lot of fun. Maybe I'll download that at some point. Nice. Oh yeah, Blade Runner's still good. Still a beautiful movie. If you haven't seen the 4K version, highly recommend it. It looks great most of the time. Some of the colors are off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Red, what do you have?
It's nearly 9 p.m, so I had nothing. I'm gonna save some stuff for next week.
All right.
Emails.
Sure.
Emails.
Shoot.
Let's get those emails.
Dear Strongman.
I'll get the cross-data this quick one out of the way. Hello, Ultipod. Cross-data here. Congratulations on completing Ultraman 80. I am now excited for what y'all think of the next show, Ultraman 80.
I see. Oh, that's so... Yeah, you know what? Ultraman 80 was a pretty good 12-episode show.
In fact, it was the best one.
It's weird that they did, like, 2 back-to-back 12-episode mainline Ultramans there. They had Ultraman Leo, and then they had Ultraman 80.
We'll see how Ultraman 81 turns out, but
exactly. We'll see what they've got in store for us for the future. So far, we're not as high on it as we were on Ultraman 80, but that's what happens with sequels sometimes. Is how it goes. We'll see.
He says, "Do you
Thank
think
you for your email?
Do you think Yamato quits his job as a teacher if he joined UGM full time?"
Yeah. It's.
I feel like when
I
I
don't
look
know
up-
about that premise.
I feel like when I look things up, they say in like wikis and stuff, oh, that's the official story, but they also don't say in the show.
There's no transition to the show, which is what bamboozled us last week. Because usually they at least do that.
They should have sent a saucer beast to blow up the school.
Yeah. Like, you should have at least blown up the school.
The whippersnapper hater has logged on. Blow up the school. Blow it up.
I would have because
Did you watch Die Hard with a Vengeance and you were like, hell yeah, I love this plan?
I did not watch Die Hard with a Vengeance.
You did not watch Die Hard with a Vengeance, okay.
I would have,
I thought about it, but I was lazy.
because they probably would have been like, oh, we can't blow up the school, that's fucked up, is I would have had like an alien hit them with a beam that aged all the children up. And it's like, you can't go to school anymore, you're too old.
Damn. That's a great plot.
Then Takashi's like, well, fuck, I'm out of a job. I don't got no kids to teach.
Oh, it's a commentary on the low birth rate in Japan. Japan's just full of old people. Yeah, well done. You've now become the average anime writer.
I've become the Abe's star pupil.
Yeah. Have sex.
Just
All right.
like those moles.
Just like those moles. Have sex. Procreate.
I got cat's email.
Yeah, I love the clip of Rara, of Narissa's reaction to Rara just talking to Minecraft pets going, just saying, you procreate, breed, and Narissa's face just going, what the fuck? Cat's email. Thank you for emailing.
Thank you, Crosshair. I guess there's nothing to say. He's not still writing off to teach the episodes. Was the subject line.
Mm-hmm.
Parentheses, all the kids wondering why Yamato Sensei suddenly has this 1,000-star stare after this Red Rose story hits the news.
Yeah.
Anyway, it seems like willpower has proved the stronger, and it falls to me to be the AD person after all. Everyone else may have lost faith, so I'll have to keep flying the flag that is the good one alone.
I salute your courage.
For real, I'm finding this switch up really interesting because clearly it's a big letdown for you guys. Another friend of mine is also coincidentally watching 80 and is also finding it less interesting after the shift, but then I find myself still enjoying it just about as much. I still prefer it to the school stuff, it stands out more, but I'm liking this too. I think the difference that you guys and her have seen all the shows it's following and increasingly resembling, while I've basically only seen Alt Q and Leo the show era, so a lot of this is still fresh and interesting.
Oh, that'll help.
Yeah.
Oh, that will. You'll be like,
thing.
oh, this is cool.
Yeah. No,
You get,
because I think part of the tension comes from, like, at least I feel this way for sure, and I feel like at least shades of this would probably be impacting you too, of like the part where he becomes big and fights the monster is the part that has become so ingrained and so like rote that like it just that alone don't hit like it used to, which is why the school was much needed spice that we now have been robbed of.
Yeah, and like we have just had this has happened to every Ultraman for like since Ultra 7 except Taro.
Yeah.
And even Taro a little bit had like he was a boxer, he was the main character, and then he kind of stopped being the main character for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's
they all do
this.
this.
It feels like a defining thing of the show era, at least after a point where like it does just get retooled when they are threatened.
Anyway, this email.
So a lot of this resonates with me without having seen previous takes on the same material. Compared to Leo, everyone is so nice and well adjusted. We're launching space expeditions now. Wow.
Yeah.
I do want to mention a couple little things from last week's trio. When Takashi fires on the protesters, parentheses, absolutely unbelievable scene. I know it's terrible, but I just started howling with laughter. What the fuck?
It's truly ludicrous.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be
I do still stand. I feel like that was directed to be like a big shock, like what the fuck moment, but like then the rest of the episode, then instead of being like, oh yeah, you were right to feel that way, is like, no, he was completely right. Like,
Can I reveal,
you should always suspect the protesters.
middle school lore?
Middle school lore reveal
From me. So one time in like grade 6 or 7 or something, in like computer class or something, because we had that back in the day. I don't know if they still have it. Our teacher was like, hey, you should make in like Photoshop an anti-smoking ad of some kind, or like an anti-smoking poster. And I was like, well, okay, I'm gonna focus on the story of smoking kills, and like I had like a brick window with a cigarette pointing out of it, and through the window you see JFK in Dallas driving down the street.
Oh
that's
my God!
so funny. Oh my god, that's incredible.
And my teacher was like, that's probably offensive to Americans. I wouldn't do that. And I was like, oh.
I was about to say, the layers of you being Canadian add so much to this.
It's anti-American discrimination.
Oh, that's hilarious.
What? That's as smoking ads go, anti-smoking ads go, that goes fucking crazy. I love that.
No, I approve. Yeah, you can retroactively tell your teacher that this American approves.
Okay, will do.
But yeah, the sniper scene is fucking wild.
Yeah. He specifically attaches his transformation capsule to the end of the rifle, so it'll shoot beta rays or whatever. And Ito can't just teleport on his own power.
Is that what happens?
Apparently.
He does. Okay. I did see him attach what looked like his beta capsule, and I was like, what the hell is he doing?
Okay.
It looked like he was attaching a silencer.
Yeah.
and Ito can't teleport on his own power. He specifically learned to use that one monster's teleportation and kind of ride the wave, so he could only do it when it's zapping someone. So I guess we're getting like the person who is paying more attention to the episode than I was.
I see.
Although this week we found out 80 can just teleport? Question mark?
He can.
And speaking of 80's random powers, I think there was a line saying his beam that shrinks you back down into friendly baby kaiju could only be used once his bloodlust was dispelled or whatever, so Jono had to calm it down first. Not trying to actually more, I think it's funny of how if you're predisposed to enjoy something, you're more likely to go with the kind of tenuous explanations or brush them off if you're not.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, this is the Austin Walker always talking about how when you start to point out little things in the show being really stupid, what it means is that something bigger has happened in the show that has meant it's lost you.
Yeah. Even if you don't know.
Because otherwise you'd be like, oh, it's just a little thing. It doesn't fucking matter.
Anyway, this week. The Snow White episode, I thought it was really cool how low-key its mind control was, especially compared to some of the other episodes lately where the threat of hypnotizes people into zombies. The steadily increasing fascination and reverence for it was really cool and kind of creepy contrast. I think that's, true. Just like, creepy cursed snow thing hypnotizing people is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really like the setup of that one. I think it's really strong.
I will say, to the show's credit, at least, I think it's interesting that it's going back to a more traditional style Ultraman, which is boring and to us at least, but I will say that I like that it's specifically going for the sci-fi moded style rather than the more kind of rote superhero style we got in the late 80s or 70s stuff. I think it's like at least nice wrinkle to it, because I did miss that element, that flavoring, because it's kind of like Return of Ultraman was like the last we got of that, really. That's just me speaking, not the email.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the Island two-parter for most of its runtime, but I had a seeking suspicion the whole time that they were going to end it with a fairly boring resolution, and hey, I was right. The alien GF dies, so we don't have to talk about this again if we don't want to. A modern season would have been more willing to let this human-alien couple be a recurring feature of the show, I feel. Parentheses, although I'd have maybe end the episode with him dying for real. Imagine if Ito was a character who appeared from overseas with his cool teleporting trick, became the second command and central character for just long enough to settle in, then he got this big two-parter revealing some wild backstory and died after like 4 episodes. That'd be pretty funny.
Ito has become a very weird presence in this show because of what they've done with him so far.
Yeah. And also kind of like the context in which he exists in. It was like when Dan showed up in Ace.
Yeah.
Dan the Child, I mean. Because it probably would have been like less bad if he wasn't so obviously a replacement for the woman protagonist.
Yeah.
On top of being annoying. Still, Sabako is pretty striking, and I always like to see one of those Shotoku plastic plots clearly made as an excuse to give the cast and the crew a vacation and film an episode where they're staying to promote tourism. And then Red Rose was another "excuse me" episode? I honestly did really like that it went through with the heroes making a very wrong choice, and left Takeshi and Tolaris and Ito with the isolating feeling of being aware of how wrong it was, while everyone around them was just keeping empathy repeating, "Hey, we're safe, and that's what's important."
Mm-hmm.
I guess I won't know until I listen if it's actually a worse copy of 7 episode or something.
That's so funny.
Damn.
That's so cold shot. Holy shit.
It's even
I'm
funnier
sorry.
where it's like worse. It's a worse copy of a 7 episode written by the same person. Because the guy got less cool.
Yeah.
But I found
It's
it
basically just it's the ending. It's the cop out ending. It's like we got to send the audience home happy. It's the optimism of the 80s is here.
Yeah.
In a way that you apply it to the 60s, which is, you know, in Japan, the 60s politically crazy time. It just doesn't compare. It's so grim.
Okay. Anyway, I guess global nuclear disarmament has been achieved now. Score another point for this world run by the definitely completely benevolent UN Federation.
Yeah.
All in all, I'm still pretty enthusiastic for the show, as much as I absolutely miss the school aspect, but also I just happen to know some other stuff, which makes me excited for it later. For its latest part, so there's an unfair advantage there. So hopefully we will like whatever that is.
Yeah, I have no idea, because I truly have no idea what they do from here.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming the people making this that have mixed feelings on it as well, at least some of them, are also going to be pushing for, like, at least doing something different.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't stay in this weird, we're just going to keep doing the old shit zone forever.
Yeah.
At least I hope not.
It'll be nice to get to Heisei Ultraman.
Thank you for your email.
Thank you for your email.
All right. No more emails. Plugs. Yeah. If you want to follow the show, you can do so on Twitter at @ultra_QUEUE. We are also on Blue Sky at @ultraQUEUE. No underscores on Blue Sky. I am on Blue Sky. My name is Red November. Sorry, I am at Red November. Now.
Email ultraqpod@gmail.com and the coffee ultraqfund.
You can find me on Blue Sky and YouTube at BeinVoked. That's BeinVoked. You can find Brad, too, underneath my desk.
What's he doing down there?
That's for me to know.
I'm very suspicious.
Is he eating those chips?
Yeah, he's eating the crumbs of the Carnitas Taco Pringles.
I see.
Yeah.
Is that all? That's what you just feed him? Just leftovers? Okay.
Just a crumb of Pringle.
A crumb of Pringle. All right,
That's my bump of chicken cover band.
You know, I didn't talk about this in the mega episode, but I like the LP and AD of that show. It's pretty good.
He came to from a star.
Yeah.
That you also started the last Star Talk.
I had help from a friend to workshop my last rhyming bit. He snipes protesters from afar.
That was a really good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I
like the rest of it. We're like, please don't like this.
I can't believe it. We're gone. 3 episodes next week.
Yes,
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Later.
Let's go UGM この星は美しい星誰もが愛する青い星この星を守るのが我らの使命 く少